everyone. Going live. That's our new theme
It's
song
all
right there. Going live. Salt, garlic,
Party on.
powder, onion, powder, black pepper.
Party on, Wayne.
We're
Party on,
live, by
guys.
the way. It's cool.
Hello, world.
Happy Father's Day, Tom.
Thank you.
Excited for
I
you
appreciate
to
it.
have a nice day. You have the kiddos over and
No,
no?
and also, well, they'll be stopping by. Yes,
Okay.
they're not here right now, but they're on their way.
Oh, good. Good. That'll be exciting. So tell us, what are
Yeah.
we eating today?
Well, you're catching us outside because it's actually perfect timing. We've got smoked pork tenderloin, and it's just come up to temperature now. So I'm actually in the final stage of this one, and we're going to take it inside and let it rest, and then I will show you the process.
You're smoking. You're not using a smoker.
Nope, and we're going to go through that all in due time here.
All right, I love it. You got lucky with the weather today.
Yeah, actually, I was surprised. I thought it was supposed to get a little bit warmer, but. So, and you can see I also grilled some pineapple. It wasn't on the menu, but I just saw it in the store. I said, I've got to grill some pineapple.
That sounds delicious.
Yeah. All right, so let's go inside and we'll get started. This guy's got to rest. As I tell you, all good meat rests for a little while, so about 25 minutes by the time we're ready for him.
While you're walking in, I just want to remind everybody, we would love your comments, your questions, your reactions. I'm watching for him, so let us know. Let us hear it.
What was that? I missed that part.
Say, we want all those comments and questions.
Oh, yes, definitely. So, like I said, we started outside because I've been smoking this guy for about 4 hours now. He just wrapped up. So we're going to cover it up, as you can see, just loosely with a piece of foil. So this is called carryover cooking, and it's going to let the juices relax, tenderize, and make it nice and happy and yummy for us.
Okay.
All right. So let's get started with a couple things. So I'm kind of just throwing in a bunch of stuff today because I thought of a couple good teaching points, and plus the pork. We should be done with this in 25-30 minutes today. So I actually roasted or boiled some red skin potatoes as well, right? So pretty simple. Cut them in half. Put them in Put them in water with salt. One important thing when you're making potatoes, you want to start with cold water and let it come up to temperature. Don't start with boiling hot water.
Is that because of the starch, Tom?
The starch, the starch, it also breaks it down. It kind of gets a little gummy and breaks it up a little bit more than if you just start out slow and let it go, right? And then to know that they're done, these are actually done because I did it ahead of time a little bit. But you want to put a knife in and you see it just falls right out without any resistance. That's how you know it's nice and done and ready to go. So I'm going to drain those real quick while I start on the pork and show you guys everything.
I made your bagels today, Tom.
I saw that. How'd they turn out?
Amazing. They're really good.
Yeah, it's not too difficult either. It's
no, it was very easy. Yeah, it was a little messy, but it wasn't bad.
This is just a bowl of some olive oil, the 4 seasonings, and some parsley.
For those that don't know, the 4 seasonings are salt, garlic powder, onion powder, and black pepper.
That's right. So this, I'm just going to let it sit here. I'm actually going to put these on the grill when we go outside in a minute. But
we're going to have to bottle your seasoning.
Huh?
We should bottle it.
Oh. Well, I always think about making it ahead of time myself, but I tend to adjust my seasonings based on what I'm doing. I can't really. I mean, it would work, but I like the feel of doing it individually. All right, so let's get to the pork. So as you know, we had to do a little bit ahead of time, right? 1, we needed the pork to be ready. 2, I needed to marinate. Marinating is pretty important to me when you're doing it low and slow or you have time. So I actually made the marinade last night, around midnight, because I didn't want it to go too long. 3 to 4 hours minimum is good. Any time is better than nothing, but if you can get 10 to 12 hours, it's usually a pretty good amount of time for a marinade to work. And what we're trying to do is you put a little bit of salt, not too much in there, because you're trying to get the salt to open up the proteins of the meat and then allow all those flavorful juices to go inside. Keeps it nice and moist, so while you're smoking it low and slow, it doesn't dry it out, right? It keeps it nice and moist inside and helps it not dry out. That's really the key. So in this marinade last night was 1 cup of apple vinegar, 2 cups of water, 2 tablespoons of salt, 1 orange sliced up, 1 lemon sliced up. I went with thyme instead of rosemary. Actually, I'm sorry. I went with a little bit of both. Instead of doing 2 of 1, I did a little bit of rosemary and a little bit of thyme because I had both. And then garlic cloves crushed up and a 1/4 cup of sugar. So pretty simple. I just put in a bag, let the tenderloin marinate in there.
That's what I love so much is you can kind of what you have, right?
Yep.
If you have certain herbs, like so many of us have been growing during, quarantine, mine are insane still. You can kind of throw that in. Is that kind of what you're saying? Like,
yeah, there's no real rules, right? If you like certain flavors, put them in there. If you don't, take them out.
right.
Maybe you love parsley more than anything. You can do it with cilantro. You can do it with dill. Any herb is just, it's really a preference.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're going to do, this is a pork tenderloin, right? Just like most of you probably have seen a beef tenderloin, filet mignon. This is just the same version, but from pork. Looks exactly the same, a little bit smaller, obviously, a smaller animal. So it comes like this. And the only thing I wanted to show you, and I left it on last night instead of trimming it up first, is you have this right here. It's called the silver skin. And this you definitely don't want to leave on. This is very hard to chew. It won't break down in cooking. So you just take a sharp knife, go under a little bit on one side, grab the little flap, and kind of on an upward direction, saw back and forth and get that silver skin off. Okay? And you see the color difference because it marinated overnight, right? So it's starting to penetrate into the meat, which is great.
I never knew. Yeah, good
Sure.
tip. Good tip.
That's why I wanted to leave it so I can show everybody. There's a little bit of silver skin. It's usually right here in the top part.
Yeah.
And you want to get that off. You can see it right there, a nice little piece right there. That just doesn't break down. It's just
I mean, as I'm watching you do it, I'm like, no, you're absolutely right. That is the tough part.
Yep.
Brilliant.
And if somebody leaves it on, you'll notice it. Some fat is okay, right? But you can also trim it up. Fat is flavor, but if it's too thick, it's not going to break down, right? This one's a little bit stringy, so I just, when in doubt, take it off.
Clean it up. Yeah.
Yeah, when in doubt, clean it up. It's going to make a better meal later on.
Yeah.
You see the bottom's not too bad. There's a little bit on there, so I'll just take off a little bit. But again, don't go crazy. If you leave a little bit, it's good for it. When you're doing pork, when you're doing anything, sorry, not pork, but pork butt, you just want to make sure you trim it up, beef brisket, those kind of things, right? You don't want too thick of a fat or else it's not going to go away. So that's that. Let me put this over here. So now I measured out already our dry rub, right? So this way we can mix it together. So starting from the top, everybody should have it. It's brown sugar, 1/4 cup, white sugar, 1/4 cup, paprika, 2 tablespoons, chili powder, 2 tablespoons, garlic powder, 2 tablespoons, onion powder, 2 tablespoons, 1 teaspoon of ginger, 2 shakes of cayenne pepper for a little bit of a kick, and then salt and pepper, about a tablespoon and a half. A tablespoon of salt, about a tablespoon and a half of pepper.
I'm digging the presentation quite a bit. Also, the color of that plate.
Yeah, I mean, it's,
HRVA Homes color. I like it. On brand.
That's my first thought.
On brand.
So, I had some earlier from when I made it. I'm just going to mix this all together in this bowl. I'm keeping as you can see, I'm keeping my right hand to the side because that's the one that had the meat on. I got to wash it real quick. So I just want to get this in there. One clean, one dirty, if you have to, until you wash them up. All right, let me wash my hands real quick. So you got anything planned for today, Aaron?
Oh my goodness, yes. So I just ordered 200 chicken wings.
Oh wow.
Yes.
That's it, huh?
From Buffalo Wild Wings. So nice. We have a lot of kids, Tom.
Yes.
So we have a lot of kids. And Sue and Jack are going to make it over, so that'll be exciting. So we're going to spend. This is Justin's favorite holiday. He, like you, is an excellent, outstanding father, and so This is his favorite holiday. Christmas is mine. Father's Day is his. So we're trying to make it a great day. Okay. So I made the bagels. Then we're going to have the 200 chicken wings and some extras on the side, and we're going to enjoy the pool and just hang out. And that's all he wants.
That's awesome. You can't ask for more than that.
He's getting a couple of gifts too later on, but
Oh, of course he is. HRVA home T-shirts.
That's what he's getting.
That's it.
Oh man, why did I even go to the store? Where were you the other day?
So this is the rub. It looks like a lot because I had that other one. The batch that I make is usually for 2. I made one, only used one because I wanted to show everybody the ingredients. So, but what you could do is just take this when you're done, put it in a Ziploc bag or a dry storage and keep it for a couple weeks. Sprinkle it on anything. I mean, it's really good seasoning. So what we're going to do is we're just going to liberally put a lot of this spice on here. Don't be afraid of wasting it. Rub it in. Right? It's called a rub for a reason. Get it in there. Get it in the cracks and crevices. This is where all your flavor is going to come. You got these sugars that are going to caramelize on there. Nice. You got a little bit of heat that's going to kick through. So it's all going to work together nice and perfect. So we're going to set this in this bowl until we're ready to go outside and put it on the grill. Let me wash it up again.
So your Father's Day consists of teaching us how to make this and then going to show some houses?
That is true. I've got an amazing 55 and up couple to go show the retreat at Greenbrier.
Oh, that's one of our that's one of our favorite. You're going to Kemp's River?
Yeah, Kemp's River.
Gotcha. And that's one of our favorite communities over there with the gals over there. They're sweethearts. We love them. We've got quite a few clients over there. In fact, I just talked to one of our couples the other day that closed just a few months back.
Yeah, that's a great little place there.
All new construction.
Yeah, I think there's maybe one more phase left, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, they're almost sold out over there.
All right, so smoking, right? That's what we're doing. So you got to have chips. I went with apple wood. You can use any kind of wood you like. You don't have to soak them in water. You might see people go back and forth.
I was just going to ask you that.
Yeah, the wood generally doesn't have time to soak up the water. You know, it's just kind of a big waste, in my opinion. If you want to do it, by all means do it. If you don't have time, don't sweat.
It doesn't help create more smoke or anything like that?
Well, the reason that they say to do it is it kind of slows down that burning and smoking stage.
Oh,
it just makes it a little bit slower, a little bit more steady. But there's some science that says it doesn't make a difference. So about probably 2 large handfuls of chips, right? And the most important time for smoking is going to be that first hour on the grill. Maybe 2 hours, depending on how much wood you got in there or what kind of meat you're doing. But once it gets that smoke ring, and we'll hopefully see it on this one that's resting, you're not going to need the smoke, into hour 3 and 4, because then you're just wasting it or it's getting too smoky. There is such a thing as too smoky. All right, so let's head outside. I'm going to show you how you can smoke on a gas grill, because I do it all the time. I don't have a smoker. Shizuka actually was considering getting me one for Father's Day, and I want one. I just don't know which one.
I asked him which one he wanted, and he said he wasn't emotionally ready to make the commitment.
It was a very Tom answer. That's probably the most Tom answer I've ever heard.
Well, because there's a lot of really good ones, and we don't do a lot of meat, but I really enjoy cooking on it. So then I'm like, do I want to spend the cost or just keep doing what I'm doing? But it would be nice to make it easy and smoke them.
Well, and we bought one last year. Justin got one for Father's Day last year.
Did it?
And it was
yes.
there was a lot of research and decision making and things like that. And to be honest with you, I think one of these things that I've noticed, and obviously I don't do all the cooking outside. I don't do all the cooking, period, is we are constantly talking about how we can change things or the next product or what we could have done, that kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure. So here we go. What we're doing here is called indirect cooking, right? All the heat's going to be on this side, no heat on this side, but that's where our meat's going to be, right? So right now I put the foil and the chips. This right side is the one that's going to stay on all the time. And I haven't touched it because I know right here is going to give me the temperature that I want. It's going to give me that 225 to 250 range, and that's where you want to smoke at. It's 225 to 250, somewhere between there, and you'll have great meat every time. So what I'm doing now is I've got this one on high a little bit just to start to get these chips a little bit hot. We'll get a little bit of smoke. I'm going to put this on now. It'll be okay. And you're just going to set it off to the side, right? So I'm going to put it this way. So what's going to happen here is the heat's going to be on this side and the smoke is going to be over here. And then it's going to transfer all that nice 225 degrees smoky temperature over to here and just low and slowly cook this meat. And I left this in here just so you can see when it's all done, the wood chips will be all burnt up to about that, right? It's gone. So it's going to get hot enough in this foil pack. It's going to cause the wood to ignite slowly and, just like smolder is what you're looking for. You don't want a big flame because then you get that charcoal soot, and that's not good for your meat. You want a nice white smoke is what you're looking for. So once this thing gets smoking, I'm going to actually turn this side off, the third one, right? And I'm going to take this packet and I'm going to move it back to here. This way I don't have so much heat hitting the packet and cause the wood to possibly catch on fire. Okay? We don't want fire. And that's it. So we're going to set it for now. I actually forgot the potatoes, so I'm going to leave Shizuka to stare at the grill. And I'm going to grab the potatoes, and I will be right back. You ladies chat amongst a great gift for me.
Well, Tom, before you leave, your mom has says, "Happy Father's Day, son. We love you, Mom and Dad." So that's so nice. Sue Weigel. All right, go. You can go get your potatoes now.
All right.
All right.
I'll be right back.
All right. So Shiz,
What's up?
did the dogs say hey Charlie, did you say Happy Father's Day to your dad? Hey Charlie.
Charlie has been following us around all day.
Oh yeah.
Because he's like, cooking, and even now, like I was trying to get him off the camera with my leg because he kept trying to get on it when he was rubbing the meat.
No, Charlie, you can't do it. You silly head. But it's Father's Day, so maybe you'll get a taste.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, he's been following me around since about 6:30 this morning. That's when I started.
Because he knows what's up. He's like Boozer, waiting for the drop.
So while I have this grill, this side being hot right now because I'm waiting for these chips to get a little bit warm, I'm going to throw these potatoes on there and take advantage of that heat and get some nice color on these. We can leave it. I can start to smell the wood now. It's starting to warm up. So let's close this up. A couple important tips. Temperature, right? 225 to 250. You don't want to let the wood catch on fire. No bueno. And try not to open it, right? If you see nice white smoke coming out, great. That means it's working. What I do is I have my temperature gauge. I haven't yet gotten the fancy ones that go through your phone. I need to do that. That's the research and why I couldn't make that final decision of what I want. I want to get it right.
Talk to Justin about that because you still have to stay pretty close. It's interesting.
Yeah.
You can't get too far from him, and that's kind of been the bummer for us. So.
And there's a lot of reviews out there. There's a lot of products, so it's just a matter of diving in and really committing to a couple hours worth of saying, okay, this is the one. But what I do, and again, as a home person, maybe not everybody has a smoker, and you don't need it. This is the only way I've done it for many, many years. Briskets, pork butts, everything. I use a digital thermometer, right? And I'll just put the temperature on the side over here. There's always a little bit of a hole. And just kind of monitor my temperature and make sure I get it up and keep it at that 225. And once it's steadily there, or I'll even go down here sometimes, just when I have to hold it, right? Once it's steadily there, you know you're good. And you can just leave it for a little bit. You come back, you're going to see the white smoke and everything's good. If you see any black smoke, open it up, panic time, look and see what's going on. Don't trust your gauges up top. They're not very accurate, right? I know at my 225, I'll be just above the 250. So once you know the temperature, then you can use it. But if you don't know, use a thermometer. Does that all make sense?
Yes.
All right. It's a lot to take in, but this is a serious thing. Okay?
Serious.
You don't have to stay up till midnight to marinate and then wake up at 4 hours later to start the process of smoking and rubbing. And then wait 4 hours for the meat to have it all screwed up at the end, you know?
I have to say, though, this is like the ultimate in Father's Day cooking with your... This is serious. Are you paying attention? Is it sinking in? This is as dad as it gets right here.
It's for all the dads and all the moms that want to understand what the dads are doing when they're smoking. Or the moms that smoke. Everybody does. It's really not that difficult. It sounds scary. Hopefully you got a few tips here. Again, the temperature is the biggest thing. For this pork loin, and we've got a few minutes here because we're almost done anyway. The temperature for the pork that we're looking for is an internal temperature of 145. Once you hit 145, yank it off, cover it up like you saw us in the beginning of the video, and that's where you want to be at. It's going to rest and cook a little bit further, a couple degrees, and it should be perfect if we did everything correct.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I love this because you're teaching people how to do it without buying expensive equipment that, It can
Exactly.
be done without a smoker. Don't limit yourself.
That's exactly what I wanted to do it for, and that's why I said it can be done. You see the smoke is starting to come through?
Yeah, yeah.
See that nice? It's starting to smell nice and smoky. The
Wait,
neighbors are wondering
so
what's going on.
when you're going to show some houses here in a little bit, who's in charge of that?
Well, Shizuka just found out that she
Oh
is.
Lord.
Oh,
I'm gonna
So
call your
now that
neighbors real quick.
yeah, exactly. So now that I've got the smoke going a little bit, I turn this side off. My potatoes, I'm taking them off, so it doesn't matter about any heat in there. This temperature, you just play with it until you get your digital thermometer to read somewhere between 225 and 250. It's gonna. I was out here honestly this morning for probably 45 minutes with a cup of coffee, just reading the thermometer and making sure I got every knob adjusted perfectly. And for me and my grill, I know the first 3 burners are off. This one's right here, about 4 clicks back to on, and that should settle me in right around that 230, 35 range.
So an important
All right.
key tip would be make sure you have some gas in the tank.
Yes, gas in the tank is always important. And I just had this conversation with Shizuka because I ran to U-Haul before this started just to get one more tank in case.
Mm-hmm.
But they were a little bit busy and frustrating, so I just did the exchange at the store. I don't normally like to do the exchange at Walmart, but it's super convenient. The only reason I say that is because I know I want to have a nice full tank, right? If you're going to smoke something bigger than this, you're going to be out here for 10 hours, right?
Yeah.
You need a good full tank plus a tank in reserve just in case.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Depending on the outside temperature, depends on how that gas burns and how quickly you use it up.
And we're a family who has, I think we have 3 tanks at all times. Definitely not all full.
And I mean, to segue into home buying, I mean, that's where it really is. If you can find a home with natural gas and you can get a pipe that's plumbed right to your grill,
Oh my goodness.
guess what? You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, and if your house already has gas coming to it, maybe you have a gas fireplace or you have a gas water heater or a gas stove, it is very, very easy. It's an easy switch over. We get you connected with a plumber and a gas specialist, and it is not as expensive as I think people think. And it's well worth it. I mean, you're not lugging a tank around.
Yeah, sometimes it sounds scary, but it's really not. Just, you got a great agent and one of us, and we can help you understand all that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's our job, not just to enjoy the rewards and benefits of it, but to really enjoy helping people find all that and answer those questions, because it's a lot, and you got to worry about moving, you got to worry about everything else. You got so much on your plate. Let somebody do it for you.
Yeah. So I would love to hear, anybody that's watching right now, I would love to hear what's their must-have, for backyard cooking, besides just a grill. What do you want? I mean, I would love to have I would love to have an outdoor kitchen, what do they call it, a casita, and a separate building with a kitchen, and I could, we have a dining table and things like that. But I also don't do any of the cooking in my house except for the bagels I made this morning. So I leave all of that designing of any kind of kitchen stuff to Justin.
And Justin does have a nice setup. I have experience on his cooking, and it's fantastic. He does a great job with that smoker and grill there.
Yeah, he uses it well. We do get use out of it. Yeah, because he got a smoker and a grill last year. We also moved this weekend last year, the same weekend. So Father's Day weekend.
I remember it was right around Father's Day. Yeah.
Yeah, we moved that same weekend. So we moved in, put the boxes down, and threw our Father's Day smoker grill-a-thon on that same day. Yeah, and pool. Yeah.
We're wrapping up here. We're just going to plate up, right? So I said, I need something on the plate. That's why I did the potatoes and wanted to show you that. I just bought a simple bag of coleslaw. Very easy to do. If you want to cut up your own cabbage, cut up your own cabbage. Mayonnaise. And what I'm going to do is just use this dry rub because it's got all great seasonings in there already. So why not just use this and season with it? And it kind of ties all our flavors together a little bit. Probably 2, maybe 1.5 tablespoons are in there. And the one thing with coleslaw or cabbage, I should say, is it's a lot of water, right? So the salt will draw all that water out. So the longer you let it sit, the softer it's going to get. It's going to get a little more runny, or like traditional coleslaw will look when it's all done. So don't get nervous if you're like, there's not enough mayonnaise. Just give it an hour, and it'll be different.
Okay, all right, that makes sense.
Yeah, that salt will suck all the moisture out, and then it'll start to soften up this cabbage, and it gets really kind of like what you're expecting it to look like. So I just put about a half a cup of mayonnaise in this. This is just one store-bought bag, and then a couple tablespoon and a half or so of our seasoning.
Where I'm
You want this?
from, mayonnaise and potato salad are big deals.
Yeah.
And there are very serious opinions on mayonnaise and potato salad.
Like the type of potato salad
Yeah.
with mayonnaise or without,
The
or
type
the type
of
mayonnaise
potato
or both?
salad, who's allowed to bring the potato salad to family gatherings, right? Because like maybe one person shouldn't be bringing potato salad because she thinks it's good and everybody else won't eat it. Yeah, there are some serious opinions on potato salad where I'm from in the
I
South.
do agree. I mean, I love to eat everything, so I like them both, but I tend to lean. I don't know. I'm kind of going on like that German potato salad kick with vinegar flavors more.
That's what I love.
I'm not a huge like over mayonnaise-y kind of thing, you know.
Right.
All right, so this is all ready to go, so we can actually start plating up here. And we're going to see the pork, and hopefully, fingers crossed, all my work and efforts and lack of sleep tonight or last night paid off.
I have no doubt. I have no doubt it did.
I don't know. I mean, you never know, to be honest with you. Trust in thermometers, and who knows if they're accurate. Too many conspiracy theories out there.
On thermometers.
On thermometers.
I'll be honest with you. If those were the only conspiracy theories out there right now, I'd be a happy girl.
I think we'd be a lot better place, right?
Yes. Let's keep our conspiracy theories at thermometers, please.
So let's get everything in place, ready to go.
You know, I love this plating part, and it was funny because I was wishing my dad a happy Father's Day on Facebook today, and as I was thinking of what reminds me of him, I remember as a kid he was huge into garnishing, right? And you and I have talked about you eat with your eyes, right? And so I will never forget the first time I ever saw anybody ever do a radish rose was my dad, Rick McDougall. He made one. He just garnished stuff on, just to be like, hamburger helper and have a garnish on it.
Yeah, well, I mean, you eat with your eyes, right?
Yeah, I like it.
Radish roses, I haven't done those in forever.
Oh my gosh.
That's the old school.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so just simple, right? Nice, make it look however you want it pretty. You can see this is already kind of reduced down a little bit, and it only gets softer from here. So you can let it sit, but for sake of time, we're going to plate it up.
It's such a good pairing with this pork loin.
Yeah, and for dessert, we've got the grilled pineapple, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is, again, it just carries it all together. So refreshing. There's nothing on there. Just pineapple on the grill. It's going to be so sweet. Those sugars caramelize in there. I love grilled pineapple.
I think I might have to make Hope stop and get some pineapple.
It's like such an easy way to get a dessert in, when you're just running a little bit behind. All right, let's see what happens here. So, I like a serrated knife. It looks good, nice and juicy. There's juices still in there.
Yeah.
Perfectly cooked. You got a little bit of a smoke ring. So when you see that little bit of a pink on the top part here, that's called your smoke ring. And that's where you got some smoke penetration in there. So one thing while I'm slicing this up, that
I like that crispy outside. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Well, that's what it is, yeah. So after you get to that 145, I take about a good minute, turn the heat up high, and let it kind of get a little crispy, caramelize those sugars that are on there.
That looks really, really good.
And you can see, and again, like I always talk about, when it's properly rested, you don't have juices running all over the board.
Yeah,
right?
because they stay inside.
And that's exactly why it's so important to let it rest.
Yeah.
And then there's one other thing I meant to talk about outside that I just remembered. When you're smoking bigger meats, something you might hear or see is people call it a Texas crutch, right? Or meat stalls. So if you're doing a pork butt or a brisket, something bigger, you get to like that 150 range, 160 range, and the meat just stalls out. It quickly gets up there, and then it could just sit at that 150 for 5-6 hours. And you're like panicking, like, what is going on? You gotta like just relax and let it go. It'll start to kick in once it gets out of that stall phase. But there's something called a Texas crutch, and what that is they take these meats and they get to that stall stage, and they'll wrap them in tin foil or butcher paper, and it kind of seals it in and makes it cook a little bit more faster, some more steam involved. Again, that's where you can go like your potato salad. Some people love it, some people hate it, some people call it cheating. It's just whatever your preference is.
And as a kid growing up, my father lived in, Texas and Austin, and he was very big into smoking meat. And so he always wrapped his in butcher paper. And
Yep.
then Justin and I, and we ate a lot of Texas barbecue when we're in Texas. And so we see the butcher paper all the time,
Yeah, it's not bad. It's just a preference.
Yeah.
If it's getting too hot or you're getting too dark on the outside, wrap it up. Save the meat. Don't be stupid. And
Well, and these
let it
guys
burn.
are also putting out brisket. They're starting at 2 a.m. in the morning. Their
Yeah.
lines start. There's some really amazing
Yeah,
barbecue places
you're
there.
talking 12 to 14 hours of
Yeah.
work, even 18 hours. The last brisket I did took me almost 22 hours. It was insane.
Yeah, well, and they're going through them. Like when we get there, the lines start at 6 a.m. in the morning, and they can sell out by 11:30 in the morning with a line. You have to pre-order for the places we go to.
Yeah.
And so we have to start ordering 30 days in advance of getting to Texas. It's crazy.
It's insane because you
Barbecue
can't just throw some
series.
on and make it real quick,
No, yeah. And that's why I think that's what's made me so picky around here locally about barbecue is because all of that amazing barbecue I've had in my life.
All right, I'm going to try this and
Sure.
let the camera girl try it. Just give me your opinion. A little bit of sweet, super soft, super tender. And tenderloin naturally is very tender, right? Called tenderloin. So if you want to make it easier for yourself, start with a tenderloin. You can do beef, and if you want, you can do pork. You can do any animal, lamb, veal, whatever. That's cow.
Yeah, because the brisket's a big thing to take on initially the first time out the gate, right?
Yep.
That's some
you can
serious
even do
stuff.
a regular pork loin, not the tenderloin, but the pork loin. It's a little bit bigger. Sometimes you're a little bit longer, maybe 5-6 pounds. Get a smaller piece, start with that, and then work your way into like the butt. The butt's pretty good. It's pretty easy. Does take a lot more time, and then brisket is probably like the top tier of being able to get your smoking belt under your badge for smoking.
Yeah.
Brisket's a tough one because it's a lot of time and there's a lot of proper ways to do brisket.
It does definitely indeed take some planning. Awesome.
All right, so that kind of wraps it up.
Wait, you forgot your your pineapple's dessert. That's right.
Yeah, we'll just eat that.
I like it. That was the add-on. So that looks amazing, Tom. Thank you so much.
I was eating it.
Oh, this is not fair. Okay,
I'm sorry.
that's fine. Are you though? Well, happy Father's Day, my friend.
Thank you.
You are an amazing father, and we appreciate you taking your time today to do this. Now, I'm going to say this as nice as possible. Go sell a house, sir.
I will do that. Thank you.
Bye, guys. Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
We appreciate